thing. So ninth grade, you're just starting to plan. You're not really doing a whole lot yet, but you're just kind of making sure your grades are in line and that you're passing all of those classes. And what I've been telling my players is passing is not what I want. I mean, it's great just to pass, but we want A's and B's. We really want A's and B's. So that's what we've been aiming for with making realistic goals, especially as a ninth grader. If you can establish that early on, then you are going to be great for future. In 10th grade, you're still talking to your counselors and you're making sure you're taking the approved courses. So you just don't want to be taking like art, and we have a class at our school called Food for Life, and it counts as a science elective, but it's not a science elective for NCAA. So I have to make sure all of my players have the right electives according to the NCAA outlines and what they'll accept. And then 11th grade, this is where we really want to start talking about our ACT and SAT scores. And we want to make sure that all of our courses are eligible, because you're about to start applying to colleges, and colleges are really going to get serious about looking at you then. And then 12th grade, you are getting ready for graduation. You have to make sure you've passed all of those courses and you have registered with the Eligibility Center because after you graduate, when your transcript is uploaded, it's going to be tagged on your account for the NCAA account. And down here at the bottom, it says 4x4 is 16. So it's going to talk about your core classes, and that's how you calculate your core GPA. And I'm going to get to that in a second. So I'm not ignoring that, but I just wanted to go through the 4 grade levels where your mindset should be first. So if we still talk about these, the core classes that I keep saying are your language arts or your English classes, your math, your science, your social studies, and in most cases, foreign language. I know for us to graduate, you have to have a minimum of 2 foreign language classes, but colleges really want to see more. So if you're one of my athletes taking the Spanish class and you're in Spanish 2, we're going to push you to take Spanish 3. And especially me, because I teach Spanish. So take all of the Spanish classes. I love it. But the higher the grades, the better, because when we talk about your core GPA, you're going to see that the NCAA, when they calculate your core GPA, they take the highest 16 classes. And this link is going to show you all of the NCAA approved courses, and you'll be able to look at your specific school and see which courses are approved based on your school's list. When you register, we're going to shift gears a little bit. When you register for the Eligibility Center, you can't make official visits to colleges until you do this. So it's one of the most important things to do. You can't even sign a national letter of intent with a D1 or D2 school before you do this. So you have to be registered, and you wouldn't be able to sign an intent unless you make the official visit. So all of it goes together. To have a certified account, it is $90, but once you have that account done, you are good to go. Schools can contact you, you can make that official visit, and you can sign all of your letters afterwards. A profile page is free for D3 and schools, or if you're unsure, so you don't have to make that certified account yet. But if you're you're gonna start making those visits, definitely go ahead and create your certified account and pay the $90. The link to the website is right there. And again, I'm gonna send this out. We recommend at my school that you do this before the end of your junior year. It's not too late if you have not done it already, but it's just a good idea to do that beforehand so that schools can start looking at all of your grades and you don't really have to backtrack on classes. And this is what you'll see when you go to the website. It's going to tell you how to make the account. It's going to tell you all of the steps that they recommend when you begin your account. And the biggest thing that I've told my players is this valid student email, because every single day since we're doing digital learning, they're like, oh, I don't check my email. I don't look at that. You need to have a valid student email, and you need to really be checking it, because not only are teachers emailing you because of digital learning and we're doing everything so differently, but schools can email you there too. And if you're not going to respond within a couple days, they're like, well, okay, this kid's not even paying attention. So make sure you have a valid school and email, and that you're paying attention to it. And that's the biggest thing I've hit with my players this year. Okay, so this is the big thing that everyone wants to know, calculating your core GPA. So most of all of our students know an A is 4 points, B is 3, C is 2, D is 1, and then you get nothing for Fs. When you calculate your core GPA, you get your total points, however many points you got that semester, and you divide it by 16, as long as those are the NCAA approved courses. So if they are those NCAA approved courses, which your list was on a couple slides before, then they're going to be the ones you divide by 16. The minimum core GPA to play at a Division I school is a 2.3. That's the minimum. Of course, schools want to see you getting more, but that's the minimum to play at a Division I school. And then to play at a Division II school is a 2.2. What this link, and I'm about to show you a picture of, what this link is the GPA Calculator. And so what I've been playing around a lot with my players is this calculator. I can put in all of their final scores for the year. So say my freshman year, I really just did not care, and I was like, whatever, and I got 70s in all of my classes. That's a D. So I got 1 point for each of those classes. So I'm probably sitting at a 1.0 if I'm at the beginning of my sophomore year. What's nice about this calculator is it'll do it for you no matter what you put in, and you can play with what scores you think you're going to get this year. So if you're sitting in your sophomore year and you're doing really well in math, you have a 95 right now, you can put that in and say, okay, if the semester ended right now, what would my GPA be with all of the classes that I have right now? And you'll see what the NCAA is looking at when they are calculating your core GPA. And it has all of the different courses out to the side. So you have English, math, science, and then extras. Like I was talking about that science elective beforehand. If you take another elective, put that in there. But they will take your top 16 to calculate your core GPA. And I'm going to send a link to you guys with your own Excel spreadsheet so you can play with your own classes. And you'll be able to keep that in your Google Drive and just play with it until forever, so you can see kind of where you need to be. And this has been the most helpful with my players because digital learning has been so hard. I'm not even going to lie to you guys. Some of my players have just really struggled because it's hard to get motivated not in the classroom, and it's hard to stare at a computer for 8 hours a day. I know, because teaching on a computer is real hard. So we've kind of got to kick it into high gear, and this GPA calculator has been great for them because I'm like, well, you know, a 14 in a class isn't going to cut it. So we got to figure it out. And this has really been like an eye opener. So I really suggest using this and putting it to good use on your own time. And then one last thing I wanted to show you guys, this has also been really big and helpful, and I sent it out to all of my parents. The core classes are usually the hardest. Let's be honest. Spanish is fun. You play lots of games, so we make it easier. Language arts, no one wants to be told what to read all the time, so it's hard. So I talked to a lot of the teachers at my school and got great resources to practice with all of these classes to help with those grades. And all of these resources are free for anybody to use. USA Test Prep, our history classes at our school actually assign stuff from the USA Test Prep because it's so good for the history classes. IXL.com is also free, and it's for math and language arts. Read Theory does a lot of reading comprehension practice, and that's great if you're prepping for an EOC and if you're prepping for the SAT. And then this last one, Khan Academy, is awesome because it has practice SAT and ACT tests. And then you can also go in and find stuff for specific classes. This is the one that my players use the most because a lot of them are in geometry right now. I have a lot of 10th graders that come see me. And on Khan Academy, there are practice videos where people explain how to do the different formulas and anything you're doing in class. And then they also have practice problems where they'll work them out, and then you can get the answers with them. And so it's really been helpful for them. And again, all of this is free, and it's just a great resource to keep practicing if you are just struggling in your classes.